Cam Cathcart.
Dude, what's up, man?
Hey, good to see you. I got a question for you.
Yes.
How do you put together a space party? You plan it. Get it? You plan it.
That's
Pretty good.
Dumb.
All right. Speaking of planet, I have no idea how I'm going to tie that in.
Yeah, we'll work on this. I'm interested.
This episode is out of this world.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. Today, we're talking with a good buddy of mine named Aric. Aric is a young dude, 24 years old, already owns significant, 500+ units. Got a new one he's closing on. It's going to take him, just legit real estate investor at 24. And we go all in on what it took to get there and how people listening to the show can take those principles and apply it to their life.
I'm excited to listen to it.
Because you have not listened to it yet.
I have not listened to it. I wasn't there for it.
That's right. You had some other more important thing to do, like hanging out with your wife or something important. I don't know. Very, very good episode, though. I'm excited for you to hear it.
Yeah.
And everyone else. Arek Boynerian. How'd I do?
Amazing.
Okay. How you doing?
Amazing.
Oh, welcome to the podcast, man.
Thank you so much. I can't believe I'm here.
Dude, this is exciting. I've been looking forward to this interview actually quite a bit because I want to pick your brain on how you're doing all these deals, man. So before we get into that, I know you as 24-year-old real estate investor with by the time this episode airs, over 800 units, which is just wild. Almost all of that in which you're not doing a syndication model like I do. So you've bought those on your own, mostly without partners. Wild. I'm excited to dig into this today. For anybody who's new to real estate or young in real estate is going to get a ton out of this. I know it. But first, take us back before all of the real estate stuff. Before all of that, who was Aric?
Aric is a Syrian immigrant. My family came to America when I was 3 years old.
Okay.
And we grew up poor. We never had much money, but wonderful family, loving family, and just super grateful. But I always wanted better for them. I always wanted to make money for them. Just felt bad. We couldn't go to nice restaurants. We would go to nice restaurants once in a blue moon and couldn't get appetizers. Got to watch what you got. Couldn't be over $30. Usually Cheesecake Factory. And
I still love Cheesecake Factory, by the way. That's my favorite. That's one of my favorite restaurants.
But the nice places we go now with the 50, that's not
Cheesecake Factory.
Not even close. Never a thought. And it was just, I could see the pain and the weight on my parents' shoulders always growing up. And I was just just wanted better for them. So started out in college with my first house when I was 19.
All right, so before we get to that first house,
what
even gave you the idea of real estate? There's a lot of ways to make wealth in the world, and that's not usually college kids' first idea is go buy real estate. So what gave you the idea of real estate?
The idea of real estate is because we were always poor, and I saw all these rich people owning real estate, and I'm I wanted to be rich too. I wanted that for my family. I'm I don't know how, don't know what, just know all these rich guys do real estate. Everyone's 90% of real estate investors or 90% of millionaires made their wealth through real estate, and I was okay,
I'll do it. So then the first deal question brought to you by firstdeal.com is, tell me about your first deal.
So freshman year in college, I lived in the dorms like everybody does. It's a good time. But going to sophomore year, everyone was where are you going to rent? Where are you going to be? And I was I don't want to rent. It sounds like a waste of money. And I was because I don't have much money. My family didn't have much money. And I was I don't want to throw it away. And they were talking about real estate in one personal finance class. And I was can I buy a house? What's it take? How much do I need? Or didn't know anything about it, but I was let me figure this out. And I found out that you only need 5% down. I was doesn't sound like much. So I might as well buy try to buy a bigger house because the bigger the house, the more rooms, the more people renting them. Because in college, people pay by the bedroom. So I was let's get as many bedrooms as possible. And I saw the sweet spot around $500,000. Get you a 5-bedroom house. And we found this house. My realtor showed it to me. I actually showed up on my bike. I don't even know how she took me seriously. 19-year-old kid showed up on the bike to this $500,000 house, and it had a garage. And I was this could be 2 more bedrooms. So I was that's the house. Didn't know anything on how to get a deal done. It was literally so much easier than doing deals now, which blows my mind, which is really interesting. So we bought that $500,000 house with 5% down. It was $25,000 down. I actually had to borrow that money for the down payment because I lost it through some stupid diamond investment. I gave it to some kid from my high school that I was supposed to have the money back in time, but never got the money back. So
What did that teach you?
Told me to not give people money for diamond investments. So closing day came and I had to like find 25 grand for the $500,000 house. So I borrowed it from friends, random people, got like 5,000 from this guy, 5,000 from that guy, and ended up closing on a house. And turned the garage into 2 more bedrooms, had 7 beds, lived in one, rented the other 6, had positive cash flow of $1,000 a month, and I was 19 years old. Like this was like, I was like the richest kid in the world. Went from like working at a car wash, detailing cars for $11 an hour, to caddying, to making $1,000 a month, not doing anything. I was like, real estate's the best thing in the world. So that was the first deal.
That's awesome, man. All right. So you got that first deal. You're in college. Did you go all the way through college, all 4 years, and then get into real estate? What kind of came next?
So I was gonna finish school, but then on my 20th birthday, we threw a massive party at my house. We called it a surprise party, but it wasn't a surprise. And I got kicked out of school. I never even told my parents, but
they're gonna find out now.
Yeah, they. No. I don't even know. But I got suspended for 2 semesters because it was during COVID where you couldn't have people over.
Oh, I see.
And we had like 400 people at my house. Like the dean of students like talked about it on their like show or whatnot. And I tried to fight it with a lawyer, spent $5,000 trying to fight this thing, and it didn't work. And I was like, screw it. I'm like, I'm just gonna dive deep on real estate. And I was like, if it doesn't work, I'll go back after like my suspension's over. And so I didn't finish college because I sold that house, made $200,000 profit.
Wow.
Put it on a down payment on $1 million apartment complex, 16 units. And I had 16 tenants going to work every day, pay me 30% of their check. And I wasn't doing anything and getting paid. Like, and my cash flow went from $1,000 to $3,000 a month. Monthly went from like $5,000 to $12,000 a month. And so yeah, I didn't go back to school.
Yeah, wow. Wild. All right. So why, like, first of all, how did you find that apartment complex, the 16 unit for $1 million?
That was listed on Zillow for like 300 days.
Really?
400 days, something like that.
And why did it not sell? And then why did it make sense for you to buy?
People like, it's just so interesting. Like, when they see something on the market for a while, it probably like went under contract and fell out of contract or something, and then just sat on the market. They had like one terrible picture on there. It was just like one picture of the building and like 16 unit apartment building for sale. So like didn't have much information, 1. And 2, I don't know, when people see stuff on Zillow, 1, they're also like, it's probably not a good deal. And then it was a little overpriced and I got negotiated down. I got a good deal on it. But yeah, so just on the market.
What was going through your head at that point? Were you nervous? Were you pretty confident? Like, oh, I know this.
Well, I sold the house and I needed a 1031 because I didn't want to pay taxes on it.
Okay, yeah.
And no, I was like, this is it. I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
I was like really confident, surprisingly. I was more confident then than I am now, believe it. I'm so serious. Like, I'm more nervous buying real estate now than when I was then. Back then, I was like, real estate, gonna make money, rich.
Yeah, they call it like uninformed optimism.
Yeah.
Where it's like you don't even know how bad things can get, so you're just happy.
Yeah, just so happy. So that was the second deal.
All right. So on that, you 1031 exchange. For those who don't know what that means, do you mind explaining 1031 exchange?
It's when you sell a property, you make a profit, and instead of paying taxes to the government, you can't touch the money. It has to go to a third party, and they got to hold the funds, and you got to purchase a piece of real estate within 180 days. You got to close, and within 45 days of selling the first property, you have to identify either 3 properties, 1 property, or there's like a bunch of other rules, but you got to identify within 45 days of what you want to buy and close within 180. And so they take the profit and they put it onto the next deal, and you just can't touch it. If you touch it, you got to pay taxes on it.
I've done it over and over and over. It's a great way to build wealth. Just keep rolling the money into the next deal, the next deal, the next deal.
Yes.
Yeah, very cool. All right, let's talk about like on that deal, that 16 unit.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get financing on that? Did you have a really good paying job at the time, or were you? Like, how do you get financing on $1 million property?
Well, these properties, they finance themselves pretty much. Just need to find the right contact because like there's 16 tenants paying rent. Like that income is what they're financing the property on. And I had decent credit from paying my credit cards on time, from paying my house on time. And the management company I used in the beginning referred me to a local bank. and local bank is how I got that deal financed. They recommended me this guy. We went to lunch, and back then they were like hungry for loans. Interest rates were 4%, and so it was really easy to make a loan.
Wild, man. All right. So you get this local community bank. You're 20 years old, 21 maybe, 20 at the time. Like, what are they?
21 when we closed.
Okay.
Yeah.
What like most I think people would believe that a bank is not going to lend to a young person. Have you found struggles? I mean, obviously you got a lot of loans now. We'll get into the rest of your story, but have you found that to be a problem, a barrier, your age or not?
Definitely. Like sometimes they laugh at me.
Really?
Yeah. Like I'm 24 and now it's even like, honestly, it's hard to get financing now because they look at me with all this real estate. They're like, red flag, 24-year-old with like $30 million in debt. They're like, what's going on here? And yeah, you just got to keep going. You got to go to the next bank. It's like, it's almost like when a girl rejects you when you're growing up. You just go talk to the next one.
Go talk to the next one.
And I kind of refer to the banks like girlfriends. You can't tell them about each other. And, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
So like when I have like 4 deals.
Honey, you're the only one for me. Yeah.
When I have like 4 deals going on, you can't take, this is some good advice for y'all out there. Like if you have 4 deals, trying to do a lot of deals, you can't take all of them to one bank. They think you're too risky. You got to take 1 to 4 different banks. And you're like, this is the only deal I'm doing. I promise. This is it right here. I'm really conservative. They love that word. Yeah. I'm going really slow. I promise. This is the only deal I'm doing. And because you haven't closed on the other ones yet. They don't need to know. So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it is maybe a little bit like like a female, like when you're trying to pick up your girl. So
exactly. Yeah.
It's worked for you. You have a wonderful girlfriend. She's actually here right now. Just she's awesome.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, she's amazing. Where'd you meet her?
At Harvard of the West, University of Arizona.
Okay, you met her in
very
Harvard of the West.
Yeah, prestigious university.
Is that you were at?
That's why it was so hard. That's why I didn't finish.
Yeah.
Because it was just such a prestigious school.
Such a great school.
It was just too hard. Like the academics.
That's funny.
Yeah.
You guys met in college.
Yes.
Was there a pickup line used? Was there?
Oh my goodness.
How did that come about?
So like I didn't drink junior year in college when I met her, and I was drinking a coffee, and it was like always a good pickup line for the girls. So I'm like, I don't drink, and they're like, whoa, what?
Yeah.
They're like, they find it attractive because they're like, what? Like everyone else drinks. Like they're like, you have the confidence to talk to me right now, and you're not drunk. I'm like, yes, I'm a man.
That's fun.
And so that's why I like kind of picked her up or whatever you want to call it. And we like danced all night. We had such a blast. We were like jumping up and down in the air at this bar, just having a blast. And then I started taking her on dates, and we've been hanging out ever since. That was like 3.5 years ago. That was like September, October of 2021. Before I even owned any real estate, like before I owned like multifamily, I had that one house.
Yeah.
But the funny part was, I was still riding my bike when I met her, and so she had to pick me up, and it was kind of embarrassing, but because I had a bike.
That's all right. Bikes are cool.
Yeah.
No, they're not. All right, moving on to your story. So you got a 16-unit apartment. I mean, what do you do next? You're like, I gotta get a job at some point. Or you're like, I'm never gonna get a job ever. Like, what came next?
I was like, let's buy some more. This is amazing.
All right.
I'm like, real estate, let's go. Like, see guys like Brandon Turner, like thousands of units. Like, that's me one day, like Grant Cardone. And I was like, let's go buy the next one. And then on the next one, I actually got my previous real estate broker to invest with me. I'm like, money's in the real estate. It's not in selling it. It's not in brokering it. That's what I've been hearing. Like the money is in owning the real estate. So I convinced him to invest with me in Little Rock. He was in Boston. And
so you were in Arizona, right, at the time?
I was in Arizona, and I was going back and forth to Little Rock to manage the property.
Why is that where the 16-unit was as well?
Little Rock.
What's in what's your connection to Little Rock?
My youth leader in college was from Little Rock, and we would talk real estate, and his numbers were better than mine, and I got jealous and started buying Little Rock.
Little Rock, Arkansas.
Yeah,
that's not a place. Yeah, that I've never been.
That's what I said too. When I heard about it, I was like, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. Is there like a small rock somewhere I should be looking for?
Is it hillbilly country? Like, what's going on?
Yeah. But what is it like? I mean, is it a city? Is it a metropolitan area?
Yeah, it's a city. It's got like 500,000 people. It's just really relaxed. It's not like it's not like Dallas or Phoenix or LA. It's just very relaxed. A lot of people go to church. A lot of people just nice folks, no like huge nightlife, just chill time. It's a great place to raise kids for sure.
What advice, before we get into your story, what advice do you have for other people trying to pick a location? Like, how do you go about finding a location if you don't have a youth leader who...
You need to find a red state.
Okay.
That's for sure. It needs to be red. The politics need to be on your side. Big reason why I didn't buy in Boston where I grew up is because like if tenants don't pay, like they can stay, which is ridiculous. And you need to find a place with good cash flow. Cash flow is king. Especially if you're starting out. Like imagine you're starting out, you buy probably a dozen cash flow, like you're going to go bankrupt and you're going to fail and you're going to cry and you're going to never do it again because it didn't work out for you. So find a red state, I would say. Hopefully you live in one so you can just invest in your hometown. But if you can't, you gotta find a market where it cash flows, the politics are on your side. And honestly, where there's not a lot of competition. That's the third one people don't talk about. At least in my opinion, it's really important because you want to be a big fish in a small pond, not a small fish in a big pond.
Yeah. So you found that. What about, how do you get to know a market? Like, how did you get to know, like, oh, these are the good streets, bad neighborhoods, good neighborhoods?
You got to talk to the people. You got to go there. You got to go visit, eat at some diners, talk to the people that have connected you there. Just even pay people to drive you around. Just get a feel for it. Like you'll notice when you get there how it is. And when you start talking to people, they'll quickly tell you like where is good, where is bad. Go get a haircut. The barber will tell you. Start talking to the banks there. The banks will tell you. They won't even want to invest in some areas. So you just got to be resourceful. It matters on how bad you want it. A lot of people that get into real estate, like, they just don't want it bad enough. They're just like, they see a video. They think it's easy. They think it's like a joke. They're like, oh, I invest in real. They think it's like a stock.
Yep.
They're like, oh, you just put some money in a piece of real estate. Like, it's completely different. It's like really like an active business.
Yeah, that is so key. Is yeah, if you want just average returns, and just go put it in the stock market, it's way easier. But if you want outsized returns, and it matters, right? Because if you look over a 20-year period and you're getting 7 in the stock market or 15 in real estate or 20 in real estate, that compounding of that extra boost is not a few $1,000s. It's millions and millions of dollars, and it's decades of your life free. And so that's why we do real estate. But like you said, like most people just don't go all in. They're just like, yeah, this looks fun.
It's like anything in life. It's like anything in life. If you half-ass it, if you like, my real estate broker told me back in the day, like people that spend 40 hours in the office versus 60, it's a huge difference. Like that extra effort, just a little bit more effort, will have you so much more results than everybody else. Because it just takes, and Ed Milet talks about it, like the difference between success and failure is so small, it's scary to talk about. Like it's just like it's really inches. So there's that concept in everything in life.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, so you got this broker. He's going to invest with you.
Yes.
What do you buy next after the 16 unit? Like what came next? Walk me through the...
Bought a 30 unit, and that's where I met my mentor.
Okay. Tell me about that. What's a mentor?
Oh my goodness. I had no idea. So we showed up on this property and got under contract and went to do the inspection. He shows up. This guy shows up in overalls. I'm like, interesting.
The seller?
The seller. I didn't even know. Like, it was kind of interesting. I didn't know if he was the manager or the seller. He showed up like in just like a $10,000 Jetta. Funny story, I actually ended up buying it from him.
That's funny.
But he just showed up and the place was immaculate. And I thought it was a setup. He kept it so pristine clean because I was used to like my frat house in Arizona where like the kids would trash it. And this place was immaculate. Like every apartment was just clean and sparkly. Like people's like beds were made. And after we closed, I just like took him out to lunch, took him out to dinner, and just tried to become friends with the guy and started talking to him every day. And he literally taught me everything in real estate. I've learned more from him than anybody, and he never asked me for $1. Like he just wanted to see me succeed.
No, that's cool. Why do you think he did that? Like, why do you think he leaned into you?
One, I think he saw, like, he told me, I asked him, and he was like, so young, trying to do so much. He loved to see people like getting after, because in the South, there's an idea of like most folks like don't like do stuff like that, and you don't see it a lot. And he also didn't have kids, and so I was like kind of like his son. And he just loved seeing me be successful, and he was just super, super nice. And I try to be really nice and really respectful. And people like to give their feedback. People in real estate, unless you're a big shot like Mr. Turner, but like most landlords who are like not big on social media, and they're bored.
Yeah.
So I take a big advantage of that. Like you're a young guy trying to get real estate, find a guy that's been doing it for a long time. They're called tired landlords, and they honestly hate it. But if they see a young buck come around with tons of energy, and that was me, still is, and they love to see it, and they'll help you for sure for free. They don't want your money. They just like to appreciate it, and they want to pass it on.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like there's something about, I mean, I use this with people that are far beyond my years. And then I also use it on the other end is like I bring around people around me who are at the other end. So like I want somebody with young and energy around me. One reason I love having you in the 50 is because you bring this other energy. I'm like, oh yeah, I used to be like that. I used to love real estate. Now it's like, dumb tenants won't pay their rent. And I'm like an angry old man. And then I get around you and I'm like, yeah, actually this is fun. I forgot. Yeah, this is great. Right? So you get surrounded by people that are ahead of you and that are you're ahead of in years. And you're just like, I remember this is pretty good. So yeah, I love that concept. I tell the story a lot, but my mentor was also a landlord. He owned maybe, I don't know, 30, 40 units out in Western Washington. And he was just one of my best friends. It was his landlord. So I just went and painted his house one time and got to know him, and took him out to lunch and never asked a thing from me ever, never charged me anything, just helped. And it's so underutilized. Age is not a hindrance, like in most real estate, especially in that case. It's such a benefit because you can get any old person to come help you.
Like most people that watch this probably see like everybody's paid thing, like Ryan Pineda, all those top guys. Like you're not gonna like learn from them. Yeah. Like not from anybody's like, I don't know, like paid thing. Like if you really want to learn, like you gotta find someone that's done it in the space and like kind of like that older guy that's not on social media, and they'll teach you everything, in my opinion.
Especially like in a local market. Like that guy, I'm sure he had insight into what worked.
So much.
Yeah.
And still does. Like I still talk to this guy every single day. Yeah. Every day we text, if not call. And we talk about everything. He's giving me so many contacts. Contacts are just huge. Like he gave me contacts to banks that gave me loans that I did tons of business with. And if it wasn't for those like little pushes, like I would, like he saved at least 10 to 15 years off my life.
Yeah, I bet. And you took advantage of it. And I don't mean that in a bad way. You took the opportunity and said, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna run with it. Where most people, they go, hey, they want to take a mentor out to coffee, or somebody that could be a mentor out to coffee. Yeah. They ask a bunch of questions, then they do nothing.
Those are ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like you just waste everyone's time.
That's no good.
Yeah, one thing I like about hanging out with you is like also like if I'm like, hey, this one thing worked really well for me. Like a minute later, it's you on the phone over there in the corner. Like you're like calling somebody, and I hear you like making the change that I just suggested worked for me. And I'm like, oh, he took action in a minute. Like, it's not like tomorrow or next week. You're like on the phone with your manager. It's like, this is what we're doing. I'm like, all right. Cool.
Yeah, like you'd be an idiot not to like what?
Yeah.
I'm just so lucky to be around you. You don't even know. Like
thanks, man.
Like I truly mean that. Like I can't even believe I'm here. Just so grateful.
Well, I'm grateful to have you in my world.
Yeah.
I love it. So let's go back to your story. You got a lot more properties after that. So what came next? You don't have to go through everyone, but like, where did your journey, catch us up to today?
Did 5 deals in 2022. That's when I started buying multifamily.
Okay.
So 2 of them were with an investor, and one of them was like little no money down. It was another house. Another one was a mobile home park.
Okay.
That was seller finance. They carried 20%. The bank financed other 80%, which is honestly my favorite way to buy real estate.
Yeah, I'd love to dive into that idea a little bit.
That's the superstar method. Like, don't tell anybody. And then what was the other one? So 2 of those. And then the 1031 was the 5th one. I talked about the first apartment complex. And then that was 121 units my first year buying multifamily.
Wow.
In 2022.
All right.
So those were the deals. The investor deals, when we break that down, the investor would bring in 75% of the down payment. I would bring in 25% of the down payment, and we would split profits, equity, everything 50-50. No syndication, no like crazy lawyer docs, just a simple operating agreement.
You bring 25%, they bring 75, and you split it 50-50. Why would they agree to that?
And the hard work. I honestly think it's not even fair enough for me, honestly.
Yeah, you could probably do 0. They bring all the money. You still split it 50-50.
That'd be better. It's harder to get, but that's what honestly I prefer because of learning the seller financing method. Because like it's a lot of work and the investor does nothing and they make tons of money. And you're constantly like, messing with tenants, all that junk, like so many problems. And they're just like sitting and collecting a check.
Yeah. I know the feeling. And if you can get more, I mean, that's basically syndication is like, I do put money, I invest in every deal just because semantically it looks good. And I want people to know I'm actually committed and I want my heart to be in. I don't have to put a dime. I can go into any, deal. I can buy whatever I want with a syndication model without my own money. But yeah, so it's doable, but I like putting a little bit of money in. Again, the skin in the game makes me feel like I'm more committed and it makes everyone else feel it. So, but I'm not going to let you off the hook on the seller finance idea. So let's go into it. 80-20. What does that mean? Like
it's not always 80-20, but that's like that's an easy one to get done.
Okay. How does that work?
It's a lot easier than you think. Like, don't think this is super complex. It's a lot easier than raising money, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
This is my opinion. People can disagree. That's fine. But so you have a deal. Either the broker, you're talking to the seller, just simply ask them, would you carry a second? And they either say yes or no. Maybe if they say no, you can still try to figure out a way because they just want money at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It just matters how much. Maybe you give them a better price and they give you a second. And because the bank always wants like 20% or something. They want you to put money in. They're not going to finance 100% for you. So you have to like figure that out. Like my mentor always said, you just got to structure a deal in a way for the bank to finance it. So the bank wants 20%, just ask the seller. Was always my idea. Yeah. And sometimes you can get the seller to carry more than 20%. One deal I had the seller carry 50%. Oh, wow. And they carried at 4.5% interest when the bank was at 8.5%. So it makes your cash flow better too.
And why would a seller do that? Why would they not just take all their cash and go?
There's so many reasons. One, might be the way they bought the property. People forget, like, not everyone's rich. So like they got into it that way. I think seller financing was way more common back in the day.
Sure.
And a second one is like they pay less taxes. They defer their taxes because you only pay taxes on the amount of money you receive. It's plain and simple. Like if you don't receive the money, you don't pay tax on it. So if they're financing it for you, they're kicking that down the line and they're not paying capital gains on what they're financing for you. So it's nice for them too, because usually if someone's owned a property for a while, they're going to have a lot of capital gains and no one likes paying the government.
One reason I like this strategy a lot is like, I mean, I've obviously heard the strategy over the years. I've never really done it. And up until I met you and started learning that's what you're doing, it kind of re-triggered this idea in my head and how much I like the idea. But one thing that stands out to me is when a seller, especially an old seller, like somebody who's older, they're in their 60s or 70s, let's say, and they've owned the property for 20 years, they might want money. They don't want all the money.
Exactly.
Like, what are they going to do with it? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. When people think seller finance, like no one's going to do that. Like no money down. Like that's the you're getting it all wrong. Like you got to give the guy some money.
Yeah.
You can't have him finance the whole thing.
Yep.
Just ask him for a piece.
Yeah.
It's a huge difference because when you tell a seller like, "Will you seller finance?" They're like, "No, get out of here." They're like very defensive because you're not explaining. Like take 30 seconds and tell them like, you don't want the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just want a little piece. That's it. And I'll get the conversation going.
Yeah, I'm thinking that let's just say for easy math, a seller owes $500,000 on a property that's worth $1 million. So they want to sell it for $1 million. Now, yes, they could pay off the $500,000 they owe, and then they get, if they bought, let's forget closing costs, but you pay them $1 million, they pay off the $500,000 to the bank, and they get to keep $500,000. Fine. Nobody needs $500,000 to live. So instead, if you're like, hey, I can get you, why don't you carry $200,000 or $300,000 a second? You'll still get a couple $100,000 in cash, and everybody wins. It's such a win-win, and they get the cash. Yeah, such a good idea. The danger of this? I want to talk about two things. One, the danger, of course, is now you have higher debt. Like your monthly cost now is like one of the reasons at 8% interest, what we're paying today a lot of times in real estate, it's 7-8%. that debt cost can get really, really high. So now you're not cash flowing these properties anymore, and you could even be negative cash flow. And how do you overcome that? And then I'll talk about the bank itself.
You can just find really good deals. If the interest rate or the debt is killing the deal, you don't have a good enough deal. So find better deals. And Little Rock's been great for me. Like it would cash flow. That's the most important thing for me.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, then just don't buy it. There's plenty more deals going around. My mentor told me it's like a napkin. There's like, okay, you have one deal. There's like 3 other corners of the napkin. There's another deal, another deal. Every 15 minutes, it's another deal. So I think it's way better than raising money though, because you got to pay those investors. And what are you paying investors? Like they want 25, 30% return on their money. Like we're giving the seller 4%.
Yeah.
So like people would say you're over leveraged or whatnot. Like I'm sorry, but they just don't know what they're talking about. Like, because if it cash flows, it cash flows. It doesn't matter if it's 100% financed, because it could be 50% financed. You can put 50% down, finance the 50%, and it's still not cash flow, and you're gonna lose.
Yeah.
So it's all about how good of a deal you got. Because like, let's say a deal is worth $2 million, but you somehow get it for $1 million and you finance the whole thing. That's like if you bought it for $2 million and only finance 50%. So it just matters how good of a deal you get at the end of the day. It's not about how much you have financed. The 80% or 70% financing is just something the system's created that's just to set some parameters for people so there isn't a big problems in stuff cash flows. Yeah.
Have you had problems with banks turning you down? Because,
definitely.
Okay. Is it often because they just don't want, they don't like that you're not coming with any money down?
Exactly.
Is that the big,
that's the
issue?
big issue.
Okay. So how do you find a bank that's going to allow you to do that?
You just keep knocking doors, and it's going to be the small banks, the ones that under $1 billion that are going to give you the money. Like, for example, Bank of America's a $1 trillion bank. Like, there's no chance.
Yeah.
But there's definitely banks out there that will do it.
Just keep knocking.
You keep knocking. And most people will knock on one bank or two bank and get discouraged. And that's just,
Have you ever, you might be too newer in your journey to have even encountered this. Have you sold any deals yet? Like actually sold many apartments?
Yeah, one complex.
Okay, so maybe you did in this, but the idea, I just like the strategy a lot, where you have the second mortgage on the apartment. You sell the property, which normally you'd pay off the seller then, which you probably would. But you can also take that and just transfer it to a new property, like the same seller, have them do a second on the property. In other words, it's not just the seller of the current property that can carry a second. Anybody can carry a second on a thing. So you can transfer their lien from this property to this property. They still have the same numbers, whatever, and you don't have to go raise more money. It just goes right over there.
I haven't done that, but that sounds great.
Yeah, it's like you can just use the same, because now that first guy, you've been paying him consistently for a couple of years. And so they don't want to get cashed out. They like the monthly payment. So they just put it on a new property.
And the thing about those guys, like if you just pay them, like they don't call you like investors do. Like they just, I barely even know some of these guys that carry the money for me. Like at all. I don't even remember their names. And they probably don't remember mine either.
Yeah, they just like getting money. And then if the money's about to stop and they're going to owe a bunch of taxes, they might be super interested in collateralizing something else. So yeah, it's a unique strategy.
And my mentor is the one that told me this. In the beginning, when he taught me it, I was like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. Is this like real? Like, does this even work? And it took me like a year for me to really buy into it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little more complex, but it's not crazy. It's just
it's less complex than the syndication paperwork you're doing on
and it's less complex than what people are doing with sub 2 or lease options. Like that stuff can get complicated.
Yes.
I mean, this is you get in the seller to carry a second mortgage for 20%. It was actually way more common back when I got into real estate 20 years ago.
Yes.
It just kind of went away over the last 15 years where I don't hear about it that much, but it's pretty solid, man.
Yeah, we'll keep it that way.
Yeah. Well, don't tell your friends. Keep it quiet.
Yeah.
How are you finding deals today? Are you going off market?
I'm closing 4 deals right now. All of them are off market. But I look on the market all the time.
Okay.
When I first got into real estate, all the deals I closed were on market. But as soon as you start like buying deals, agents will send you deals. You post on your social media, you close the deal. Guess what? They want to come to you and close deals with you. Like 2024 was brutal for agents.
Yeah.
I know this one agent, I was the only deal he had closed.
Really?
Out of all the ones like he tried selling. He had like 8 or 9 deals and I was the only deal that closed. I'm like, I've never not closed a deal I went under contract for. So when I tell agents that, they're like, they want to send me deals because they know I'll close. But yeah, just get started. Another one is like, just call a bunch of agents. You'd be surprised. The people that complain about not having enough deals are the ones that aren't calling like 50 agents or enough people. Like, it's hilarious.
Anytime anybody ever complains about not having deals, I just go through a few simple questions like, how many brokers did you call this week? Crickets. Right?
I got like one agent, I got this agent, he sends me one deal once in a while. I'm like, dude, I call like 50 agents. And some like new people like say like, are you not loyal? I'm like, that's not what this is. Like, that's how single family works when you're trying to buy a primary residence. But when you're doing like multifamily deals, like whoever brings the deal is getting paid the commission. Like, we're not going to be loyal to one agent because we're not going to sit around all day waiting for deals.
I agree. All right, let's talk about different asset classes. So you've done mobile home parks and you've done multifamily. What do you like better? Pros and cons of them? What are you digging?
I love mobile home parks. Mobile home parks, the tenants stay, they pay. And like there's not much turnover.
Yeah.
The cash flow is 10 times higher. The taxes are much lower. The insurance is lower. Everything's just better. Like this year, my goal is, after I close these 4 deals, only to buy mobile home parks. Maybe I buy less real estate, but I'm going to be a lot less stressed. My apartments, they're very transient. I don't know your experience, but they don't stay. They don't pay, especially if you get some scale. You'll start noticing like delinquency goes up. People like don't finish their lease, and it's just whatever, I guess. But I'm sorry not to like it. And that taxes are really high. Insurance is high. Cash flow's not as good. So I feel like mobile home parks are just the best thing. My mentor told me that too. Yeah. He's like, when we first started talking, he's like, after a few years or whatever, you're going to come back and say, I wish we only bought mobile home parks. And like, I'm like, and a year went by or two and I'm saying it already. And I'm like, wow.
That's funny. Yeah. I mean, my mobile home parks, are through this hard year of 2024 are just chugging along just fine. Like, tax and insurance is killing us on some apartment complexes. It's like, we'll survive it, but it's like, I hate it. It's stressful. And my mobile home parks just in the Midwest, just
I'm 100% occupied across all my mobile home parks.
That's awesome.
Apartments like 90.
Yeah, it's a thing. How do you manage everything? What's your systems like?
So I lost over $100,000 doing third party for sure.
Really?
Like I was like through mistakes, like vacancies went up, delinquency went up, high expenses. I probably lost over $100,000 trying third-party management. I didn't just try one. I tried 3, and not like right after each other. Like I tried one, managed in-house. I was like, let me try again because, maybe I was just being ignorant or something, and it didn't work again. Then I tried one more time, and highly recommended. Just, I don't know. If you want 50% expenses, okay, use a third-party management company. I operate at 30% in-house. So 20% on all that revenue is a lot of money for me, especially from like coming from nothing. So in-house, you just have way more control. And after you get in the industry, you see like the best guys, they all do in-house. Like all those like Sam Zell in-house, Robert Martinez in Houston in-house, the guy here, Trey Stone with 6,000 units in-house. Like, and these guys are badasses. Like, the guys that do third party, I don't know if I'm speaking wrong, but I just feel like they think they're too cool, or like they're like delegate to elevate. Like, you gotta delegate all that stuff, man. Like, I'm like, okay, maybe if you're a billionaire and you got so much money that you don't know what you're doing with it. But like for people like me who are trying to make money in this industry, especially if you're starting out, like every dollar counts. And when you have a management company, not only are your vacancies higher and all that junk, because you're just a number on a spreadsheet to them. Like an HVAC is not $5,000, it's $10,000 now. Yeah. A make rate is not $1,000, it's $2,000-$3,000. Everything's more, like all across the board. So yeah, if you're a billionaire, like go hire a third party. But if you're trying to make $1 or $2, then you gotta do it in-house.
Yeah, we love having in-house. Like, I mean, it's annoying. It's a whole system and a machine you gotta build. And you can delegate to elevate your way out of that one eventually too. But yeah, like, so you have people working in-house for you. Like that's the way I delegate is I like to delegate in-house stuff rather than, third party. So that's awesome. What gives you the most stress in your business today?
The management, for sure. What we just talked about, like saving that money does come at a cost for sure. But I was also even more stressed when I had third party. I was stressed then too. But yeah, just Making sure everything's going smoothly. Just, I don't know. You gotta tell yourself you love it, but that's why I want to just do more mobile home parks, because these apartments are kind of stressful, honestly. And mobile home parks, I have like no stress over there. So that's why I want to do more of those. The management of these apartments, it can get a little stressful for sure. Just making sure people pay on time and all that. It's, because I really want to make sure it goes well. Like I watch over everything, which is probably bad, but yeah, apartments stress me out a little bit.
Yeah. How would you describe your management style?
I have one manager for every 100 apartments.
Okay.
So I can only have 6 managers. About to have 3 more. So gonna have 9. And then we talked at the 50 that I need to hire a regional. So I'm working on that. So he can manage the managers and I can just focus on buying more deals. But
do you have a management company per se that is like corporate and then they manage these managers, or that's what you're kind of needing to build? Like is there a company that you have built, property management company?
Yeah, it's called Landmark National.
Okay. And that's your
It doesn't make money.
Yeah.
There's no it pays the managers.
Yep.
But no, that's what we call it.
Yeah. And that's where the regional will sit, probably in that kind of like management level. So like they'll manage the 8 or 9 people underneath them. And then you will pretty much, because right now I'm guessing you're the point of contact. You're the leader
for the
of
managers.
All the managers, the 6 right now, plus 2 more, 3 more you're bringing on. Yeah, when you have that many direct reports, like you're just putting out fires from those guys all day. So you need to bring on a leader who's going to then lead those people.
Like in the 50, we talked about, can you go your phone without 3 days? And I can't.
Yeah.
I definitely can't. Like I can be like cocky. I'm like, yeah, of course I can. Like, no, I definitely can't. But I think if I had a regional, I would be able to.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's where, and they also, if you get the right person, now there's right and wrong people and it's hard to find them and that's a whole different conversation, but you get the right person and like they'll do it even better than you did. And then your job, and this is a revelation I had over this weekend. In fact, I sat with Trey Stone and this is the gist of the conversation is like, I need to be in the business of developing leaders, not in the business of like, I don't know, whatever it is, everything that I do. Like 90% of my work should be working with my leaders to make them better leaders. That's what I should do.
That's really powerful. John Maxwell talks about that in his book, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. He says, if you want to add, grow people, if you want to multiply, lead leaders.
Yeah.
So
I think you'll find a lot of luck. So what's the plan for hiring that regional? Maybe there's somebody watching this podcast or listening to right now.
My best manager.
Yeah. You're going to promote from within.
Promote within, and Trey Stone gave me, assurance on that. He's like, yeah, that's exactly what you should do.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a big fan.
He's like, you bring something from the outside, it's going to mess up your whole thing, and you're going to get screwed. But if you promote within, you hire your best manager, it'll go great. So I'm really excited about that.
That's cool. Have you figured out what criteria? This is something we talked about at the 50 that's last week, but like when we talk about executive assistants, and then what criteria makes a good executive assistant, like attention to detail, blah, blah, blah. What do you think makes a good manager? And especially, let's even go higher, what makes a good regional manager in that regard? What are we going to look for?
Great attitude. Someone that can handle problems without coming to me, just handles it.
Yeah, it takes ownership.
Like, and this guy like never calls me. I call him sometimes just to see like, yo, how are you doing? Like, what's going on, man? I miss you. Because I actually like really like the guy.
Yeah.
And he's just great, always smiling, cracking jokes, but he just handles stuff. Someone that can just handle things, that like doesn't come to you for like little problems or almost anything. Like he just knows what I want, knows my preferences, just comes to me when he wants to spend money. And we're working on that where he can just, spend it without even asking me. Because honestly, he watches out for my money, and I appreciate that. Just like he's almost he's a boss.
Yeah.
And he's not cocky. Doesn't think he knows it all, wants to learn, wants to grow. And when we talk, he's like, what's the next level? Like, let's go. I love it. I'm in. He's not like a bad manager is when they call you and they tell you, like, these are my problems.
Yeah. And they want you to tell them.
I'm like, I hired you for that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to hear about this. Can you help me out, please? Like, this is not, if I'm doing that, like, I'm doing your job. And then this is just not what I signed up for. This is not what I had envisioned. And with him, he's got like 170 units he manages. Like other managers, they manage like 100. And he does way more than them. And he gets rewarded for that. And just doesn't, I don't really have any problems. Like right now, if I thought of anything that he's dealing with, I can't deal with anything wrong with his properties.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably the one then. There is a problem in what, like, I'm not suggesting you're doing this, but something that I always try to look out for. What they call that phrase, like, you can be promoted to incompetence. So you take somebody who's really good at managing tenants, for example, and you make them a leader. Well, they're not good at corporate leadership or whatever. And so then they can suffer if they're, so the key there, from the little I've done this is like your job is to train them, make sure that they step up to become a leader. Because it's a different role, right? If you take them, put them in a leadership role, and then just don't give them any frameworks or leadership training or anything, well, now they're trying to manage 9 or 8 or 9, region or whatever property managers, the same way they manage tenants, which is a different skill set, right? So something to like lean into. Again, both of us, like, we're leading leaders. That's the goal, is lead leaders versus just like get in there and solve problems. So I'm excited for that transition in your life. It'll be fun to get together in 3 months again at the next 50 event and see what changed and what the new struggles are, because struggles never go away, right? They just move. They just morph. I don't know. I feel like I've been doing this for 20 years now. It's like, I'm like, oh, as soon as I get through this problem,
really?
Oh, it's going to be, not to give you some heart pain.
Yeah.
But like, problems just shift. It's like, oh, this was a problem. And usually it's like, oh, raising capital is so hard. We don't have money for these deals. And then you work at it, you figure it out. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, by the way, that's the new problem. It's like this COVID. I don't know. These problems morph.
Yeah.
And so,
like, when I used to be the manager, I had problems like tenant calls.
Yeah.
Them at the evict some and like all that. And then I started hiring a manager and it got better. And then the problem was like managing the managers. And then like, they're not collecting all the rent. And so yeah, it definitely does evolve. But it's been getting better though. As you get bigger, life gets better for sure. As you grow more, become more successful, life gets better. Like, you just become better, like personal developments. Like, I totally believe in that. And like, I'm happy about that. Like, when you solve a problem, sure, like there's always more problems, but I think you're happier for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a phrase I say a lot of times is like, sometimes the best way out is up. And what I mean by that when I say that to people is like, if you're stressed and you're overworked and you got a lot of problems, sometimes the answer is not to like, I just need to do less, get rid of some of my problems or properties. A lot of times I just need to get bigger. If I was bigger, I could now have the infrastructure and the team to get me out.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I bought a mobile home park my first year. I talk about how I love them, but this one I like built.
Yep.
And that was a mistake. And if I stop buying, like, I'm still working on that one. It's been like 3 years. Wow. I've lost tons of money. But if I stopped buying and just like try to finish that one, I probably would have failed and probably would have went bankrupt, because I was losing $4,000 a month every month for like 3 years on that property. But I kept buying more, and the cash flow from the other properties has paid for that. And now it's like, okay, it's going to get done when it's going to get done. And I'm like pushing on it, but some things you can't like speed up faster than you really can. So growing and getting bigger has totally helped me. Like, the more cash flow I get, my cash flow is like so good now, or it's been great that like I actually not so worried about it. Like, I'm not worried about expenses. I'm like, okay, we have to spend the money. Before, I would like maybe go fix the toilet myself and stuff like that. I used to live in my apartment building until I had 318 units. I bought my first house like that I could live in myself, that I wasn't renting out other rooms. Like, I was cheap like that. And I'm still am sometimes, but I'm trying to grow out of that.
Yeah, I still house hack most of the time. I mean, I just bought a new house and I haven't rented out the front unit yet, but I'm going to. Like, probably next month I'm going to house hack this thing. And like, I'm like, there's no, I don't know. You can take the boy out of the Midwest, but not the Midwest out of the boy.
Yeah, like I was, like, we were at a black tie event for the 50, and I went to Men's Warehouse, and there was like 2 bow ties. One was $5, the other one was 50.
Yeah,
I bought the $5 one for sure. Yeah. Like, they look exactly the same.
Dude, that's funny. Speaking about that, last night, for those, I mean, this obviously comes out much later, but we hosted an event for the 50, which is that high level mastermind that Aric here is a part of. And I had this vision years ago, long before the 50. I said this last night, but I had this vision years ago of a bunch of people in like full like tux, like prom dress, like level, like real, wedding style on the side of like the volcano, Haleakala, which is what we live on here in Maui. Just like outside, the party lights, there's champagne, there's a fancy dinner, big long table. I had that vision and I'm like, how do I make that come true? And then it was like, well, let's start a high-level mastermind that would come out to Maui at some point. So then a year and a half into the 50, we finally came to Maui. We do New City every 3 months. And this time was Maui. And we did a black tie dinner, and it was super fun. I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah, I was so lucky, so grateful to be a part of it. You don't even know. Like when I was like thinking about joining or trying to join, I was like, am I going to get in?
Yeah.
And I was like, and just so happy I was being a part of that. Cause I love that. Like I love doing stuff like that. And you never get to do something like that.
Yeah.
That's like out of a movie.
Yeah, that's what it was. It felt like a James Bond thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there was even that car that was there. Yeah.
Yes.
But we don't talk too much about what we do at the 50 because we like the secretive of it. No, I'm the one that's spilling some of the secrets here. And, but anyway, if anybody's interested, just go to whatisthefifty.com. We got a few spots left in there. And, yeah, it's super fun. I love that. I love the experiences that we do. And I love the just like iron sharpening iron sort of thing. Like when we get around other people who are doing really cool stuff, that's different than what you do. Like you can come to me and be like, Brandon, this is one thing I think you could do. Like you're teaching me about this 80-20 thing again. I'm like, this is awesome. I'm going to go. In fact, one thing that really excites me about this 80-20 idea is this is going to get a little in the weeds. So if you're new to real estate, this might not apply to you yet. But if I can buy more larger multifamily and mobile home parks, if I can do it without much money down, I have money I could put down and I can do some. But if I could buy really larger properties, $1 million plus, $2, $5, $10 million properties, and I can do this 80-20 idea or 70-30 or whatever, if I can do that, and even if it only breaks even after I'm done, I'll still do it because I need the tax write-off. Like I can use this as a tax play more than anything. Like I get the full depreciation because I'm not syndicating it because I don't need the syndication. I don't need to go to investors who get all the depreciation. I'm just doing it alone or with a select number of partners. And yeah, we could, not that I want to break even, but we could break even and it wouldn't matter. As long as if I'm not spending money out of pocket, I don't care if I'm actually breaking even. As long as I get millions of dollars in tax write-offs, like great. So I think it's an interesting strategy that I'm going to explore this year quite a bit.
It's definitely amazing. Like imagine, because like how much faster can you buy real estate if you don't use money?
Yeah, I know. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's why, again, to go back to that, that's why, like, yeah, having other people in the group that just like, so whether it's not you're in the 50 people listening or whether you're in the 50 or you come to a Maui masterclass that I host or whether you're in your own thing or you go join somebody else's program, get around people who are doing more than you or doing different and bigger and cool things regularly, even if it's just a local real estate club. Just, get around those people. It's powerful.
That's why I joined. That's why, like, I was just so excited to be a part of it. Just even, like, talk with you and all, like, that was the reason I joined, just be able to talk to people like you. And I was just so happy and just so grateful because it's already like elevated me and it's just going to continue to elevate.
Well, we like having you there. So a couple more questions before we bump to the final segments. What metrics do you care about most in your business? Like what do you look at and obsess about?
Occupancy and delinquency. Management's everything. Obviously, I'm going to buy more real estate and it's going to grow. But if you can't manage it, you're going to lose it. So I'm super cautious of that.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in my cash flow and I have decent cash flow and I'm really focused on that. Sure, like get to 10,000 units, like go big and all that stuff. And I just know it's going to come. But my biggest fear is like not losing it. I don't want to get too cocky. I want to stay humble and make sure what I got is working before I, keep growing.
It's a good answer. I like that because I've heard you talk about it before, the occupancy. And when you really boil it down, like that is the primary number that drives revenue on a larger multifamily or mobile home park. Like that's the big number. If you're only at 80% occupancy versus 100, there's all your profit and then some. It's kind of like your last bit of profit on a multifamily is in like the last little bit, like the last 5 or 10%. So you got to get it up there and just obsess about getting that higher and higher, which is hard sometimes, especially in a market right now. Like, Austin, Texas, for example, is down there. Their occupancy is down to like 80% across the city.
That's crazy.
It's hard. Yeah. So like now we got to do incentives at our properties there and all this stuff. And so it's hard sometimes to maintain because market dynamics swing. But we do have a semblance of control over that. Like we can work harder to fill it. So I can still be at 90 something percent, even if the entire city's at 80, because I'm just better. Like that would be my goal. That we're just going to be better. So yeah, you can either just whine about the economy or the market or the year or the politics or the person in office, or you just get better. So, all right, man, what actions have you taken or do you take, do you think, that most newbies just won't do? They just don't do it. They just like, what do you do on a regular basis that everyone else isn't doing and therefore not getting the results you're getting? What makes you stand out?
I'm just very consistent. I'm very disciplined. Like I go to the gym every single day and I just pray to God every single day. I look at my real estate stuff every single day. I talk to my family every day, talk to my girlfriend every day. Like I'm very consistent, and people are like, how did you buy all these units? I'm like, just honestly, one deal at a time. Just consistency.
Yeah.
Like a 30 unit, another 30 unit, another 30 unit every month. Like just very consistently disciplined. Like it's not like a one-time thing. Success isn't built in a day. It's built every day. And I just, every single day I get after, I wake up, smile on my face, super grateful, like, let's go. And most people don't. Like they watch TV all Saturday, football. I got friends that do this all Sunday, just watching TV, watching football. They're like, oh, the game. Yeah. I'm like, dude, you're not on the team. Like you didn't win. The team won. Yeah. You didn't. You're on the couch, bud. Yeah. And like they do this fantasy football stuff and all that. So it's like there's some people that like play the game in other people's lives, and there's some people that like want to play their own game. Like the guy like yesterday, like Jason Stinger, like he plays his own game. Like you can see, like you just gotta get after it. So
dude, I love it. So one thing we do on the show is that we have a sponsor, we have sponsors that pay the bills, but anything above and beyond, all the profit we can generate, we try to generate as much as we can, goes directly to charities of the guest choosing. So what breaks your heart? Where do you want the money from the show to go? Like, what do you care about? What passion or organization or something do you care about that we can send some money towards?
I love what my church is doing, Fellowship Church in Dallas. Okay. I believe 4% of Gen Zs have a biblical view. And that's like very sad. So if you can send it to some kind of church that's like helping the youth know about Jesus, would be amazing. I don't know if that's possible.
We'll do it, man. We'll figure it out together. All right, so picture this. I just signed a lease with a tenant. They seemed great on paper. Then a few months in, everything kind of started going sideways. Suddenly, they're missing rent deadlines. There's a broken window. The neighbors are complaining about them. I realized I'd put someone in my rental property without properly screening them. And now I was living a landlord's nightmare. But lucky for you, you don't have to make the same mistakes as I made early on because you have the luxury of using TurboTenant. So if you're managing any rental properties right now, and you're still trying to vet tenants and collect rent and keep track of work orders and market all your vacancies, look, TurboTenant is going to be your best friend. It's an app that allows you to do all of that and so much more, all in the same platform. Plus, it's like stupid cheap, like seriously less than your Netflix subscription. I don't even know why it's so cheap. And if you want it even cheaper, I got a discount for you. Just go to turbotenant.com/betterlife and use code Brandon10 for 10% off. Or go to my Instagram and DM me the word toolbox, and I'll send you a link to a bunch of cool free tools that they have, like the rent estimator, financial freedom calculator, and more. All right, man. Well, we got to start winding this thing up. So let's go to the 3, 2, 1 pivot. The idea of this segment is your life is going in one direction, and then something knocks it off course in a good way. Pivots in a good way. So we're going to start with 3 books that pivoted your life.
Okay, the first book was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I know it's like everyone says it's like, oh, that book, but it's true. Like when you're a kid, when you're 19 years old and you read that book, you're like, whoa, it's like a whole different world. Like I think we think very differently, and that's the success in life. Just thinking differently, not conforming to the world. Like I'm a big believer in like the paradox. Like everything is opposites in my life. Like the government tells you, don't have debt. I think debt's great. People tell you God's fake. God's not real. He's real. It's like opposite. So same thing with thinking. Like go to school, get a job, all that. Like no, like don't get a job, don't go to college. Like that's not. You can go for fun, but that's not what's gonna make you successful. At least in my opinion. Yeah. So Rich Dad Poor Dad taught me like you gotta have assets, not liabilities. You need to be the investor at the end of the day, not the employee, not the guy who works for himself. The guy that owns the business. So that really opened up my mind. That was the first book.
Okay. What else?
Second book was by Dan Martell, Buy Back Your Time. This one's very hard to do, in my opinion. Yeah. Well, it's easy to understand. Like most things in life are easy to understand. But the difference between success people, like you said, and not, are the people that implement it. Like knowledge is not power. Implementation is power. It's a big difference. Like a lot of my friends, like they talk about doing stuff, they don't do it. So buying back your time, it's like delegating a low-level task, like let's say checking your emails, doing your calendar, being the manager at your apartment complex. Another example. So hiring that stuff out so you can do what makes you money. For me, what makes me money is buying more deals. So delegating almost anything, which is not easy, so I could have more time to buy more deals. So what I'm doing now is going to get a regional manager so I can, buy more deals.
Yeah.
So number 2. Number 3 is Mind Shift by Eric McManus.
Yeah, Mind Shift. Yeah.
That guy's...
Erwin was on episode 2 of this podcast.
I love stuff that like just change the way you think.
Yeah.
Like another guy says, if you're not contradicting yourself, you're not growing fast enough. And that one's crazy. Because like I used to think I needed to manage my apartment buildings. And then I heard a video from you, like, not like you hire that out. And I was like, whoa, if it's coming from Brandon Turner, it's gotta be real. I gotta do this. So like Mind Shift was on the way of like thinking differently, like changing your mind. Like God's given us incredible power, and like don't underestimate yourself. Like you're here to do amazing things, and living small isn't helping anybody.
Love it. 2 pivot people that have changed your life.
Definitely my dad bringing us to America. Like imagine if I was in Syria. You can't own 800 units in Syria.
Yeah.
There's no cash flow.
Have you been back since, by the way?
No, like you literally can't. Like we're so lucky we came here. Like it's from grace of God. Like I probably would be dead or,
yeah, they had
starving.
They've had a rough.
We still have cousins that live like nearby, and we send them money every month. And if like that's why I work so hard. It's like for my family, extended family. Like I want them to be well off. Like I send them money, but I just want to send more and more. And so my dad just coming to America and just being an amazing father. Like several of my best friends like don't have a dad, and I'm like, wow, it's like hard. I'm like several of them, and then they're also divorced and all that. And I'm like, thank God my dad was like a strong man and like stayed in a relationship with, women are hard to stay with. So.
I'm hard to stay with too.
So, and the second one's my mentor, Jeremy. I don't want to say his last name. Absolute legend. This guy's a farmer, okay? Like, he'll walk in here, he looks like he's working for $20 an hour, but richest guy you probably ever meet. Wears overalls every single day, drives a $10,000 truck. And the nicest guy ever taught me everything I know about real estate besides what you've taught me, but he's taught me so much. So that guy is absolute legend. Really changed my life.
That's amazing. Yeah, he sounds awesome. I wish you get him to come speak at a 50 event.
No way. When I tell him I come to these things, he's like, it sounds boring.
Yeah.
He's like, that does not sound fun. He's like, let's go get a margarita.
That's funny.
It's so funny. He's like, I couldn't think of anything. Like he rides horses, cuts his own grass at his farm. And you can say that's like wasting his time, but he just enjoys it. That's what he's doing over there. Yeah. Like if the world went to crap, like he'd be fine because he could live off he lives off his land.
Yeah.
His monthly expenses are $1,000, he told me. Wow. Can you imagine? $1,000 a month? Because everything's paid off and he just like eats off his farm. Yeah. Wow. So there's nothing to pay for. So yeah, he's number 2.
Cool, man. What about one quote that's changed your life?
Those who put their faith in Jesus Christ will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not faint. They will walk and not grow weary. Isaiah 40:31.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good one, man. All right, moving to past, present, future. What advice do you have for your, we'll call it 17-year-old self?
Wow. Go big on apartments and mobile home parks. Hire people sooner. Hire that like manager sooner. Hire that team sooner. Build that team. Was a big one. And stay humble. Never think you know it all. There's always people better than you. There's so much to learn from. And just thank the Lord every day.
Cool, man. Present question. What have you done in the present, like recently, like now? That's like a habit, action, a trade, a new purchase, anything you've done that's given you a better life?
Join the 50 was a big one.
Yes.
Huge one. Nice, huge one. Like we go on trips and stuff. I would never pay for stuff like this. And now I'm like, not forced to, but like it's just part of it.
Yeah.
But I'm just so happy we're doing it.
Obligated to, yes.
Because if I didn't, I would just like spend money on another like apartment building or whatever. And I really enjoy that. it really just huge change. It's probably saved at least 5 years of my life just joining this thing. And it just elevates you to do things sooner. Because like I would have gotten to where I was gonna be if I didn't join or whatever, but it just take longer and just saving that time, because like time's the most valuable currency. It's not money, and you can't get any more.
Yeah, it's actually a good point about the obligation or forcing us to go like travel and do these events. So it's all stuff like, yeah, I would not do that on most of the stuff that we do on my own. And yet I think it's cool. Like when we did, like you weren't there for this one, we did helicopters into the Grand Canyon, or we do like the speed racing, and we've done like, the playing with the whales on the boat yesterday. All this stuff is like, when we look back on our life 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now, these are the things we're going to remember.
Yes.
And it's like, you don't want to look back in your life and be like, oh, I was so busy buying real estate that I didn't live.
Like another great thing, like I'm about to have dinner with Tommy Mello tomorrow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I would never there's no way I would get a dinner with this guy.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? And the other guys I met, like Robert Lee owns 5,000 units. I like went and hung out with him for a couple of days in Atlanta.
Yep.
Giving me his time, meeting Trey Stone, like going to Jason's house last night. Like these things are like getting access to you. Nuts.
Yeah, it's been a good time, man. What about the future? Someday you're going to pass away. It's going to be a sad day. I'll cry a little bit. But you're going to have some little kids there running around. Maybe you want kids someday?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you're going to have some kids that were there. Hopefully they're grown up and maybe our grandkids running around. But they're going to be talking about you and about your life when you pass away. What do you want them to say? What do you want your grandkids, your kids, and your friends that are at the funeral? What do you want them to say about you?
He was very generous. Made a huge impact on their lives. Was always there. That's why I buy real estate, so I can have freedom with my time. And he loved the Lord, giving it all back to God.
Cool. Beautiful, man. Well, let's wrap things up. 2 final questions. First of all, what are you excited about in your life besides dinner with Tommy Mello, who is one of my favorite humans and a legit guy? And what else? What are you excited about?
So many things. Life's awesome. Got this girlfriend we've been dating for 4 months. She's great. The next 50 event. Just waking up tomorrow, closing on deals, owning real estate, like just living the American dream. Like everything in life is just so fun. Just trying to take it in, because life's so fast. It's so short. Like it's going by so quick. I'm just trying to enjoy it. Going back to Dallas, hanging out with my friends, like just the little things in life. I'm big on little things. Like I don't need no fancy sports car. Just like good people. And just having dinners with them is just amazing.
Yeah, so true. All right, final question. Where is the best place for people to reach out to you or learn more about you, follow you online, all that good stuff?
Yeah, social media. They call me Mr. LLC, but it's Arek Real Estate, or just my first and last name on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook.
And that's AREK.
Yes.
Arek Real Estate.
Yes.
Not Eric. Like
no,
people
it's not
naturally
Eric.
call you probably all the time.
It's okay.
Arek. Very cool, man. Hey, I appreciate you. You're awesome. It's been a ton of fun. So thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And that, my friends, is the show. Thank you for tuning in. And hey, before you go, if you enjoyed this episode or if you just enjoy the show in general, please consider leaving us a rating and review wherever you listen to podcasts. We really do value your feedback, and we read the comments. We make future decisions about topics and guests and everything else. Plus, it helps us reach more people, and the more reviews we get, the more people hear it and watch the show and share it, and it's awesome. Last but not least, please head over to social media. Consider befriending me, following me, subscribing to all that stuff at Better Life and my personal page at Beardy Brandon, especially over on Instagram, YouTube, and really everywhere else. So thank you again for listening. I'm honored that you would bring me along on your journey toward building wealth through real estate investing without losing your soul. Now, this show is about living a better life, but if you want my opinion on what it takes to live the best life ever, just go to abetterlife.com/best life to hear some of my views on life and spirituality. I think you'll like it. abetterlife.com/best life. With that said, thanks for listening to the show. We'll see you next week.